Hey everybody, welcome to Chiller Night Live. This is Brian. We'll be here from 8 p.m. Eastern Time until 9 o'clock, talking about all things horror, science fiction, paranormal, and right out the gate, we have got interaction. That's right, we've got live interaction, thus the name Chiller Night Live. All right, Renee is just pelting me with an onslaught of emojis and all kinds of stuff there. And hello, Chiller Night, Ava and Bryan Hogue. Hey there, Renee. Thank you for joining us. And Stephanie says, hey, y'all. Renee says, sup. Now I'm starting to see some of the emojis that Renee... There's a delay here for some reason when it comes to the emojis. I don't know why that is. Wow, lots of emojis. So hello to Renee, hello to Stephanie. Renee says, got MRIs done today. Oh, you got MRIs done today. Oh, on your arm, I take it? I didn't know that you had said that you'd broke your arm. There's my baby Ava. Hello, she says. Hello. Hello, Mrs. Hogue, my beautiful bride. Dee says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Dee. Thank you for joining us. Tom says, greetings all. Greetings, Tom. Thank you for joining us. What's it? Ha, my pussy kitty cat was just with your intro. What? Did I miss a cat? Bonehead says, hey, hello, Miss Ava and the Chiller Night crew. Hey, Bonehead, thanks for joining us. Raymond says, Brian, Tom, Bonehead, Raymond, thanks for joining us. Yes, so, Stephanie asked Renee how her MRI went. She says, responds, Stephanie, I will find out the results January 27th on my follow-up. I am comfortably set in my sling. All right, well, we are glad that you're comfortable tonight, settling in for another night of Chiller Night Live. Raymond says, oh, Al, okay. Oh, there's Al above. Al says, hi, everyone, it's Chiller Night again. Hey, Al, thanks for joining us. Let's see, Bonnet says, hope everyone is doing well. Missed audience. Stephanie says, that's good. Now, Renee says, Friday the 13th, December 24th, saw 4 illuminated plasma doobie joint UFOs? Doobie joints. Oh, like a doobie joint shaped UFO outside my hospital window. 2 big ones the size of BLDs and 2 jet fighter size after suffering missing time and a broken arm. Wow, that's quite an experience. You know, I wish I was doing chiller chat, these days. I would have Renee on as a guest and she could tell us, because she seems to have a lot of experiences and a lot of interesting stories there. Remember, we used to have chiller chat every Tuesday night live. I'd have guests on the show. They'd call in and we'd make a show out of it, by golly. And that was a lot of fun. Maybe we'll start that back up eventually. Won't be anytime soon, but Dee says, love the t-shirt. Oh, thank you, Dee. Appreciate that. Love the Wolfman. Let's see. SBC says, hello, everyone. Hey, SBC, thanks for joining us. John says, it's Tuesday night. The time is now, and it's time for Chiller Night Live. This is Crozak the Grand. And now here's our host, Bryan Hogue. And our show tonight is on creatures of the cold, or frostbitten fiends. Oh, I like that. Yes, tonight, you folks, you good, fine, frightening folks, you chiller maniacs, you all picked the top. Not every single one of you individually, but you collectively picked the topic for tonight, which is winter-themed horror movies. Remember that at the end of last week's show? I didn't forget. But that's going to be the topic of tonight. And just like always on this show, our topics can tend to stray, so don't be shy if you want to throw something else in there. But that is just an overlay of tonight's main topic, winter-themed horror movies. So, PBR, hey, getting the wave emoji, so right back at you, and thanks for joining us. And now I'm seeing John's little frigid faces emojis popping up there. Yes, it's been very cold across the country. I don't know. I think across country. I know it is in Pennsylvania. A little chilly here in Jack Shadow's Dark Domain, but the things I must endure to bring you entertainment, or to bring us all together. I hope you're entertained. Jason says, "Ghoul evening, my fellow ghouls, and to the Ghoul Master. I love the shirt. Just listen to podcast on Teen Wolf. Good movie." Oh yeah? Oh, that sounds cool. Teen Wolf. I remember seeing that when it first came out. The first one with Michael J. Fox. Is that the one you're talking about? The surfing on the van and all that. Those crazy kids in the 80s. PBR says, "How about The Thing? That's a great winter scary movie." Yeah, you know what? I actually have a list of there's so many lists of winter themed horror movies. Believe it or not, there are. And I'm going to read you Screen Rant's top 10. Okay? Now I don't agree with all of these, but I wanted to just stick with one source and go from there. So that's what I will be, that's where my source will be from tonight. Al says, D says The Shining. Al says, how about the 1977 movie Snow Beast? That was actually, Jack Shadow played that once on a Chill Night Theater episode. PBR says, LOL was typing the same thing, Jason. Yeah, that in my opinion that's the best one that I can think of. Stephanie says, The Thing from Another World, Black Christmas and Whisper. There's some others. Definitely some others. Okay, I will get right to it. And I will go down the list of Screen Rant's top 10 winter-themed horror movie. Well, they're not saying they're the best, but they're saying 10 frozen. I will tell you what the 10 frozen horror movies that are perfect for a chilly winter night. All right, well, close enough. So I still don't agree with everything here, but I am going to. It's not like okay. They mentioned The Abominable Snowman, 1957. All right, Forrest Tucker, Peter Cushing, and Maureen Connell. I don't know some of these other people, but we sure knew Forrest Tucker and Peter Cushing. So that's the first one on Screen Rant's list. The second one is a movie called The Last Winter in 2006. I've not seen this movie, so if anybody has seen this, let me know. Building an ice road in the Arctic. Okay. I don't know anything about this movie. I'm just throwing these out here. Let me catch up on the comments here before I continue. Let's see. D says good pick. Or Jason says D, good pick. The Shining. Yes. SBC says the plants from Navy versus the night monsters. Oh, what? I've not seen that. The Crawling Eye. That's perfect. The Crawling Eye. Now, we have played that one. The Crawling Eye, also known as the Trollenberg Terror. Another one with Forrest Tucker. We mentioned him in The Abominable Snowman. So that was a pretty good one as well. Very, very good one. Let's see. I've seen that movie the first one. Okay. You've seen that movie. Which one? The Abominable Snowman or Last Winter? Last Winter. Okay. Well, while we're waiting for a response there, the next one is 30 Days a Night, 2007. I happen to like this movie. I think this is a really good vampire movie where the vampires seem very monstrous again. You know, this was This is right in the era of Twilight. Yeah, not my thing, but it's got an audience. Obviously, it had an audience, so I prefer these savage monstrosities to the sparkly vampires. But again, to each his own. I'm not being snobby about it, and I'm just telling you, telling you what's what. No, I'm not. But I thought that was a good movie because 30 Days a Night, they were trapped in the area that they were in. There was no getting out or supplies coming in, and they were trapped. And they were trapped with vampires, and these vampires were, vicious, very beastly like, and it was really well done. I enjoyed that one. All right, now let's see. Let me check the first one, the Abominable Snowman. Stephanie says, SBC says The Thing from Another World. Excellent. That is on this list, so that one we'll see that one. Just texted that. Good movie. Stephanie says, the one with Forrest Tucker and Peter Cushing. Yes. SBC says, Jack Frost too. I did see one, I saw Jack Frost on another list, and I was like, isn't that... Maybe there is a horror movie with that. I thought that Jack Frost was one with Michael Keaton. More like a... I didn't know that was a horror movie, but maybe there is a... I think there is also a horror movie with called Jack Frost. John says, Hammer Films released the one called The Abominable Snowman of the Himalayas, starring Peter Cushing and Forrest Tucker, and from Toho, Half Human. Half Human. Okay. Now, that reminds me, you're talking about Peter Cushing. Horror Express. That was, that took place in a winter environment, certainly. So that was pretty cool. That's not on their list, but that's going to be on mine. Let's see. I cannot think of, Tom says, I cannot think of Forrest Tucker without thinking of F Troop. Yeah, that's pretty much my my initial thought, But it is kind of cool that he went on to, do stuff like, or not went on, he did that F Troop later, but doing stuff like this, and even playing in John Wayne movies, Sands of Iwo Jima, several others. So let's see. The Gray, 2011. Now I don't have a poster for that one, but that's the one with Liam Neeson. The reason I don't have a poster, some of these when I was getting the posters right before the show started, they were just taking forever, and I thought, nope, I'm just not going to do it. Well, it said I had the image was insecure or something like that. It's an insecure image. I didn't want to capitalize on its vulnerabilities. No, so remember that one, The Gray, 2011? People must survive against a pack of hungry wolves. Okay, they have a little one-sentence synopsis. 30 Days a Night, residents fight off ravenous vampires. Ravenous they were. The last winter, I'm just going back now to kind of recap. The last winter, environmentalists face an unexpected fight against nature. And the Abominable Snowman, people embark on an expedition to search for the Yeti. All right, now we'll get back caught up here. Let's see, The Gray. I don't know if I've seen The Gray. I thought it was a good movie. I wouldn't put it in a horror category. John says, Half Human was also released with an additional footage starring John Carradine. Oh, yeah? Yeah, Tom says they're calling The Gray a horror movie. Exactly. Yeah, that's where I don't know. I don't know, what some of your takes are on this, what you consider horror movies. Like, there are some thrillers that we've played on Chiller Night Theater, for example, like the Bat. I can just think of that one off the top of my head. The Bat is not a horror movie, but it's a murder thriller, and so You know, I guess it falls under that chiller, or at least it's one of those public domain movies that we can show. But what do you consider a horror movie? Do you consider Jaws a horror movie? Like, I don't necessarily consider that a horror movie. I think it's, you know, the events that take place in the movie are horrific. But what's a horror movie to you? To me, it's, you know, it's more of a supernatural element to it. Otherwise, I kind of look at it as a thriller. So, but what do you think? That's just my opinion, but what do you think? I don't think there's any clear cut. It has to be this or that, but the gray, yeah, I didn't. Kind of wondering about that. Um, let's see, and of course, The Shining, 1980. That's kind of when you guys were mentioning it, or whoever mentioned this theme for this week. This Shining, it was the first image that, and I posted that on the Facebook, kind of that first image that I had of Jack Nicholson's character after he went crazy and he's running around with the axe outside. Strange occurrences take place at a remote hotel. So, The Shining, Stanley Kubrick's horror classic starring Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall. All right, so Raymond says Tucker must have needed money to star in F Troop. Yeah, I guess he was in some big movies. Wasn't necessarily the main actor, other than, like, you know, some of the B movies, like the Crawling Eye, like it was mentioned, but yeah, he was never really the A-lister leading man till he got on F Troop. So, yeah. Tom says, I mean, it's a thriller to be sure. Right, and then there's another one coming up here that fits in that category as well. And you'll... SBC, Evil Santa and Krampus. See, there you go. That's my idea of... I didn't see Evil Santa. I didn't see that one. I did see Krampus, I think. Raymond says the Bat is considered horror, but is a thriller. See, yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it in both of those categories. Me personally, I would categorize that as a thriller, but it's in numerous categories listed as a horror movie. So that's why I'm kind of curious. What do you think? Let's see. Stephanie says, I think the music video by 30 Seconds to Mars was based on The Shining. Oh, is that right? I don't know. I know not of this. Let's see. I don't know that one, Stephanie. Let's see. Here's another one, though. Werewolves Within 2021. I've never heard of this one until I read the list here tonight. A group of trapped individuals suspect someone is a werewolf. And I think it said somewhere on it, it's kind of one of those whodunits. Mysterious deaths occur, tensions escalate, and suspicions rise. So, I don't recognize any of the actors on there. Sam Richardson, Rebecca Henderson, George Basil. But, yes, that's Screen Rant's number 5 movie on their list. Okay, now we're coming up on their number 4 movie that I would consider... Oh, PBR says, does Mystery count? It does with Screen Rant because it's on their list. It's coming up. It's coming up. Yeah. I don't view that as a horror movie, but I suppose if you're just looking at it as a, what do you consider horror? I consider it as something outside our realm of natural, supernatural. That's what I look at it as. That doesn't have to be everybody else's. I just go back to, vampires, werewolves, ghosts, that type of thing. Doesn't have to be that. That's just mine. That's initially what I think of for a horror movie. If somebody can throw in or there can be a science fiction kind of overspill into the horror realm, like The Thing. That's science fiction. An alien monster. It's not necessarily supernatural. It's paranormal, maybe, but not. But where was I? Oh, the 2010 movie Frozen. Nope, wrong Frozen. Okay, Frozen. 2010. Friends are stranded in a chairlift in freezing weather conditions. Came out in 2010. I remember Ava and I watching that, and it certainly would be an unpleasant experience. You definitely don't want to get caught in a freezing chairlift in freezing conditions, but a horror movie? I don't know. Okay. Stephanie says, I've seen Werewolves Within. It's awesome, and it's based on a game. Is that right? See, I've never heard of it. And it is a recent one. What did I say? 2021. So it just came out not too long ago. To me, 2021 was like yesterday, so heck, even 2010 doesn't seem that long ago. Okay, now here's one I haven't heard of. Let the Right One In. I don't have a poster for this one. I don't have a poster, so Let the Right One In 2008 is on Screen Rant's. Number 3, a okay. A vampire and a boy connect over their loneliness. I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. But maybe somebody has seen it. Maybe somebody enjoyed it. Yep. I don't know. I'm trying to read some of the synopsis to it, but I've never seen that one or heard of it. Again, it's called Let the Right One In. And that was another one when I started, trying to quickly collect all these pictures that was not cooperating with me. So, Al says the real low point for Tucker was the 1970s Saturday morning kid show Ghostbusters. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I would imagine that was a pretty low point for Forrest Tucker back then. Yeah, that's a brutal business, though, the show business. Being a celebrity, most people have a very, very short, window of opportunity to really shine, and some of them really get only their 15 minutes of fame. So it really is, and I don't know that I don't know how much talent really does play into it anymore. When you look at some of the things that are popping up, what are you willing to sell your soul, and for what? And if you're not probably, you might not be up here. I'm not saying everybody up there is done unmentionable things, but probably helped a lot of people, though, get to where they needed to be. Let's see. I'm trying to see where I am at here. D says, oh, Raymond gave a thumbs up to Owl on that comment about the Ghostbusters. Yeah. D says, what about Silent Night, Deadly Night? See, there's another one that I thought that would be in this list. It's not. Or for newer releases, Terrifier 3, another one I thought would be mentioned. I haven't seen it, but of course I know the setting that takes place in. So, complete nonsensical gore with a Christmas theme. Yeah, have you seen that one? See, I've not seen it, but and Frozen is such an unsettling movie. I can only imagine The horrific, horrific experience watching this one. No. When was that? Frozen. Oh well. They probably have like five sequels to it by now. But anyway, here's another one. This was brought up. This was brought up. Um, some pop-ups here. I don't like it. Misery, 1990. Okay, that was brought up by PBR Street Gang. Misery, 1990. Good movie, excellent movie. An obsessed fan holds her favorite author hostage. So, yes, James Caan and Kathy Bates. All right, so based on the Stephen King novel, Mystery is a 1990 horror movie centered around a fictional writer, Paul Sheldon. James Caan, who gets trapped by his biggest fan, Annie Wilkes. Kathy Bates, who tortures him until he rewrites the finale of his famous novels. So, I think we've all seen Misery. That's a gruesome movie. Is it a horror movie? I don't know. That was actually a good legitimate question by PBR. Does that count? It was on their list, but would you consider it horror? I don't know. I'm kind of curious what some people consider horror. Tom says, wasn't he on a Ghostbuster show with Larry Storch, another F Troop alumni? Yes. Yes, he was. D says, and Frozen is such an unsettling movie. Yes, it is. John says, one of the sequels to Stephen King's Sometimes They Come Back was set at Antarctica Research Center base, where the survivors try to stop a man from reaching the gates of hell. That sounds pretty cool, and I gotta admit, John, I'm not familiar with what the movie is that you're referring to, but that sounds kind of cool. Or is it just Sometimes They Come Back Part 3 or something like that? But that sounds cool. Antarctica, land of mystery and ice. D says, let the right one in is great. Okay, there we have a response here. Mixed emotions on that one between empathizing, pity, and horror. That's the one about the kid getting bullied and befriends a vampire. I think if I remember the little single sentence synopsis there. Stephanie says, I haven't seen the Terrifier trilogy, and I'm not going to. Sorry. Yeah, they're different. They're pretty gory. They're pretty gruesome. I don't know. I'm sure 80s and up until 80s and 90s, Bryan would like it a lot more than than Bryan now. I don't know. Not necessarily my cup of tea, but I do think the guy who plays Art the Clown does a fantastic job. I think he created such an interesting character, and I don't think that can be pulled off just by anybody. Like, you probably have probably test out a dozen people to play Jason Voorhees. You probably get 3 or 4 who, I don't know. I'm saying that like I've done this, but I don't know. I'm just saying that, big guy in a costume slasher. I know there's more to it than that. You're a physical actor, but with the Terrifier, Art the Clown, that is really, really a talent. Stephanie said, oh, SBC says Santa's Sleigh. I've not seen that one. I thought there would be more stuff like that on these lists, but Stephanie says, hey, my mom saw Misery. Did she like it? Yeah, that was a good one. It was a kept your interest. Brett says, hi, Bryan. Hey, Brett, how's it going? Hope all is well tonight. at Cranberry. SBC says, I think Misery is more a thriller. I agree with that. See, that's where I would put that. I would put Misery. I'd put The Gray. I would put Frozen, not the Disney one, the other one, in a thriller category. But if you're going to put Jaws in horror, do you put Jaws in horror? I guess you have to think in those terms, because in Frozen you have the wolves. You know, there's a pack of wolves down there. These people are up in the, you know, the chairlift, you know, and they're stuck up there, suspended up high, and there's some wolves down here threatening them, and that would be horrific. Obviously, a horrific situation. And The Gray, again, wolves. You're out in the wilderness. You're out in the frigid, you know, tundra-like conditions, and you've got these wolves that are killing all your people in your group. So let's see. Oh, D says, yeah, don't bother, Stephanie, about the Terrifier. But out of all of them, I like two the best. Two. Yeah, they're kind of hard to watch. You gotta you almost gotta just shut down a little bit. Just say, okay, it just. SBC says, the Sometimes They Come Back sequel is weird. I have it on VHS. The story has nothing to do with the first film. Huh. I wonder why they even connected it with that movie then. Sometimes They Come Back. Unless, well, you said they didn't have anything to do with it, but I was thinking, you know, connect that gateway to hell theme to what's causing these things to resurrect, and Sometimes They Come Back. Is that, wait a minute. No, I was thinking of the Stephen King one where the Pet Sematary. I don't know what I was thinking of. All right, so now I just don't even know what I'm saying. No, okay, so I wouldn't know. I don't know. I'm just gonna end it at that. Dominic says, hey, Brian, thanks for doing this every week and keeping us company. You're very welcome, Dominic, and thanks for joining us. Our tonight's topic is winter-themed horror movies. So that's what we're talking about. And I have been going down Screen Rant's 10. They got a list of 10 movies. I figured I'd go down the list. Where are we at? We are on number 2. Okay, and 1. Number 1 on Screen Rant is probably your favorite and mine, The Thing. The Thing. Okay, in 1982, researchers come across a strange, deadly creature. Released on June 25th, 1982. All right. Kurt Russell, Keith David, Wilford Brimley. Very cool movie. Very, very cool movie. And, of course, John Carpenter at the helm. D says, quite honestly, all the Terrifiers are just plain stupid gore. I'd buy into it more if it actually had a storyline or plot. It's just non-existent. That bothers me. Gore for gore's sake is not my bag. Yeah, I get that. We were watching, Ava and I watched the first one. Like, okay, well, we'll check out Terrifier 2. So we started watching that one, and it's like, I don't know what the rules are in this movie anymore, because it just seemed to be getting, I didn't know which way was up in it, and what are they trying to say, or what are they trying to set here for the rules in this movie's dimension, or whatever you want to say. I didn't know. I was confused by what they were trying to, you know, other than just the gore, like you were saying, like they're kind of heaping that on you. with no rhyme or reason. Tom says, Jaws is not horror. I agree that there really needs to be a supernatural aspect to the traditional horror genre. See, that's the way I look at it. Would I rather fight or, be chased by or have to escape or fight the Wolfman or a 25-foot great white shark? I would go, it'd be me and the Wolfman duking it out because I don't want anything to do with that shark. So, doesn't mean that would, to me, that is the most terrifying. Put me up against zombies, put me up against a werewolf, but not against a shark in the water. I don't want anything to do with that. That, to me, is much more scary and horrific, but it's not horror. And I understand that. I get that. But yeah, doesn't mean it wouldn't be a frightening experience. But Al says Jaws is really at its core a monster movie. John says sometimes they come back for more is the title of this movie, starring Faith Ford, Damien Chapa, if I'm pronouncing it right, and Chase Masterson. It seems to me, I'm sure I've seen that, or sometimes they come back, but I don't remember anything about it. To be sitting here right now, I'm trying to remember. I don't know if I've seen it. It sounds super familiar, but I don't know if I've seen that one. Bonus says, well said, D. I agree with you. And Miss Stephanie, I ain't gonna watch them kind of movies. Yeah, it's just part 2 got to be too much, and that actually kind of turned me off even wanting to see part 3. At least at the time. Will I see part 3? I probably will. Dave and I are probably, no doubt, going to check out part 3. But part 2 was a little... it was a bit rough. If you're not really expecting it or really wanting to... I don't know. If you don't like gore, don't watch those movies. They get pretty extreme. SBC says, if the wolves are mutated... okay, now we're talking. Horror is just hungry, thriller, action, survival. Or horror... Okay, if the wolves are mutated. Horror if they're just hungry. Or if they're just hungry, thriller, action, survival. Yeah. If they're mutated, horror. Gotcha. Yes. I could jump on board that train of thought there. Tom says, my first year of college sniff. What, 1982? Is that what you're... when the thing came out? Stephanie says, I love the Wolfman T, Brian. Ah, thank you. Thank you. Bunny says, I agree, Tom. Jaws is a great thriller and sort of buddy movie with the way the three guys carry the second half of Jaws. It's one of my all-time favorites. Yeah. And Quinn. He had that Ahab quality about him. Almost the Captain Ahab from Moby Dick. And I don't know. It was good. I enjoy that movie. I enjoy it so much. The first Jaws it's the only Jaws as far as I'm concerned, but it was excellent, excellent movie. SBC says, I think they just tried to sell the film better with slapping a 2 on a well-known title. I'm sure it happens all the time. Raymond says 82. Tom says 82. Yep. 82 it is. Sniff. Stephanie says, I love those dogs in the thing, poor pups. Yeah. Jason says, Terrifier 2 was bad, and then 3 was just gore porn. Art the Clown, excellent, but the writing is awful. Is that right? See, I didn't see 3, but man, the Terrifier 2 was just, it was brutal. Just brutal. Jason says, winter horror films where the protagonists are trapped with no way out are the best plots and leave you on the edge of your seats. Yeah, because they're like, well, let's go up to, what the heck is it? Oh, okay, like 30 Days and Nights. You're trapped. And let's say, and I think you're right in this, because if you escape the monster, now you've got probably the biggest threat that is against mankind. You've got to survive the elements. You've got Mother Nature, you know, doesn't have a malevolent intent, but it's still the most dangerous thing out there. Yeah, you know, so yeah, you're trapped, but what happens if you can't escape? Now you've got that to worry about. And you know what? You're like that on the boat in Jaws, you know. What was it? Was it the Orca, the boat? I forget the name of the boat, but I know the Pequod was in Moby Dick, Captain Ahab's, but I don't recall. But it's the same thing. They're stuck on that boat, and they have the ocean around them. The ocean is the environment around them. So what are, what do they do? Even if they get away from the shark, well, we know that they latched onto something and swam into shore at the very end, but it's a terrifying situation. All right, so Jason says writer horror films, winter horror films, I read that one. Dominic says, yeah, I can't watch the Terrifiers. Too much gore. Love the classic horror stuff with more of a plot. Waiting for Nosferatu to come out on streaming Blu-ray. Yeah, I gotta agree. I was sitting there thinking about this when I was watching the Terrifier 2. I was like, would high school Brian, would I have liked that? I know when you were watching the Jason and the Freddys and Michael Myers, and you're always, but that stuff was so tame compared to, the way Art the Clown was just I don't know, it was just horrible. But I had to step back and think, is it just, am I getting a bit soft in my old age or older age? I want to correct that right now. But would I have enjoyed that as a teenager? But I will say this. This was during the haunted house, okay, season. And the one kid who played Art the Clown, excellent job, by the way, did a fantastic job. And there was another actor, I call them kids, they're probably 20, maybe, to me, they're, but they were both talking about this movie, and they said that this is just the one liked it, the Art the Clown actor liked it, but I know part 2, he thought that was just really, really extreme. So I don't know. Even the young kids, I guess I should say, were saying the same thing that we are sitting here saying. So Raymond says The Thing from Another World came out in 1951. Yes. Is that what year The Thing from the original? The original, yes. That sounds right. I don't know off the top of my head, but that sounds right. But if you've never checked that one out, give that a look-see. That's an excellent movie. Patty says, hey, Patty, thanks for joining us. Jaws was a throwaway that wasn't supposed to make any money. That's why they gave it to an unknown director named Spielberg. Is that right? I didn't know that. I didn't know that story behind it. That's interesting, huh? Because wow, well, such a good movie. Tom says the short story The Thing is based on Who Goes There is a good read. Okay, I didn't know that. Interesting. D says SBC. I only saw the original Saw for Cary Elwes, if I'm saying his name right. I know which actor you're talking about. And Saw 4 and Saw 5 for Scott Patterson. The rest, nah. Patty says Orca had them stuck in the Arctic stuck on ice floes at the end of the movie. Oh, the movie Orca that came out after the success of Jaws? I was trying to think of the name of the boat that they were on. Wasn't it with Quinn's boat? Captain Quinn, wasn't that the Orca? Or am I just not remembering that right? I remember seeing Orca, but I don't remember anything about it. To be honest with you, it was so long ago, like when it first came out. Man, I only saw it once. Bonus says, I love Jaws and Great White Sharks, but honestly, the sequels went from bad to worse. Yes, Jaws really didn't need a sequel. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. But it's typical money grab, and then they milked it. They ruined them. Yeah, it's like Close Encounters, you know? Just wipe that movie, just one and done. And let it go. Let it be a classic forever and ever, you know? And I hope that they never do a sequel to Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And if they have, I don't even want to hear it. Jason says, space movies are like winter horror movies. The elements outside are brutal and not survivable, and you are trapped inside the ship or outpost. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, same thing. Like Alien, a horror movie in space, directed by Ridley Scott. No, that's a really good example of that. SBC says, I'm not into streaming. I prefer going to the cinema and smuggling pizza in. Cool. I'm really, I thought I was pretty far behind, aren't I? Let's see. I actually read that, Tom. It was really surprising that he wrote that back in 1930s, Bunhead said. I think, what an imagination Campbell had. I did not know that. I didn't read that. Stephanie says, I love The Thing from Another World. D says, yep, they are churning out another Terrifier 4. Oh, yeah, yeah, of course. To finalize the Art the Clown storyline, hopefully. Jason can live on, so maybe Art will too. I'm sure if the money's flowing, then so will the Art the Clown stories. That character is just... I gotta admit, though, and all the you know, there seemed to be a kind of a lull there with your you know, your classic monsters or the slasher monsters, or even the monsters in general. What really stood out after Jason, Michael, Freddy, and well, they had Chucky and they had Ghostface. Ghostface, you know, I look at that as more of a thriller, a murder, with a horror theme to it. But I don't know. That was really a strong one that came around. A Terrifier. Let's see. SBC says, has anyone seen the movie that takes place before The Thing from Another World? The movie that takes... Oh! No. I didn't. But they did make a prequel to The Thing, right? The prequel to the 1982 Thing. Is that right? Or did they make another one? That I'm not aware of. Bonus says, the original The Thing and Carpenter's remake were the ultimate in a sequel being just as great as the original. Or remake, yeah. Yeah, the remake, like you say here, that was one of those. I remember us mentioning that too on here, where we were talking about the remake being, or sequel, you know, like Empire Strikes Back, you know, that to me was a better sequel than the original movie. The Thing was a better remake than The Thing from Another World. So, Night of the Living Dead, I can't go so far as to say the 1990 version is better. But for me, it's more fun to watch. I just love what Tom Savini did with that movie. So I'm not going to say it's a better movie than Night of the Living Dead, the original 1968. But that is one that I think is a more fun one to watch. Bonus says, yes, Brian, the boat in Jaws was the orca. Yes, thought so. All right, thank you, Bonus. Brian says, I'm really late. Yes, you are, Brian, but thanks for joining us. Let's see. I see that at 8:51. But you wrote down, you were on here at 20:49. Okay, so I'm a little bit behind on reading yet. And it says, SBC, do you mean The Thing prequel with Mary Elizabeth Winstead? Bunny says, The Thing from 2011. I think it was. That I don't know. For my phone, what did I do with my phone? What the heck? Just disappeared. Um, Renee says, watching and listening, can't type, my arm hurts. Oh no, Renee. Well, we're glad that you're with us nonetheless. Um, I'm so sorry that your arm is hurt and in its sling. I hope it heals up soon. Yes, and we are. Yeah, we're really. I can't believe it. 8 minutes left. 8 minutes left. Okay, so look, let me do my plug here for Chiller Night Theater. You can watch Chiller Night Theater every Saturday night on Stream TV at streammedia.tv. There it is, streammedia.tv. Begins at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And I have not, it looks to me like they got a new website, and every time I click on the on-air schedule, nothing's coming up. So I normally post that on Saturdays, but I don't know what the movies are for the lineup, so I haven't been posting the last couple of weeks. So hopefully this Saturday we'll see that. Also, there's my new store hours. Monday and Tuesday I'm closed. I'm open Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, 6 to 8 p.m. and Saturdays 3 to 8 p.m. and Sundays closed. And that is for Chiller Night out at the Cranberry Mall. And let's see, here we go. There's the storefront. Pretty neat looking store. And the Witching Hour escape room. We have horror themed escape rooms. So Witching Hour, these are 1 hour escape rooms. And we also have Zombie Outbreak. If you're in the area and you wish to book an escape room, you can do so by calling 814-209-8214, or you can go online and book it online at chillernight.com. So hope you get a chance to check that out if you are in the area. Again, that's Cranberry Mall at Venango County. Venango County. Not the county just south of that, Butler County. It's rural, at the very southern end of Butler County, closer to Pittsburgh. There's another Cranberry Mall. It's not that one. Not that one. I have customers that end up there, and instead of my store. So Bonus says, Brian, your phone is going to be in the last place you look. Yeah, I normally have it sitting here so I can see if someone texts me or something during the show. Sometimes I have some text messages. I think you're right. SBC says, Manos, the Christmas special. Yeah, yes. Manos. What are Paul's doing? Paul, if you're watching this later on after the fact, we hope that you're doing well as Lasercorn, some of you guys, Glam Fangs, if you're watching this later, we miss you guys. David and Diana Sylvia, just miss a lot of the old crew, but we're happy that we have a lot of newer folks here with us as well. And if you'd like to join us, again, every Tuesday night, you can go on. Oh, I wanted to mention this last week. I forgot. Chiller Night Escape Experience. Escape Experience is still part of the store. Okay, it's still part of that's the escape room part. But the store is Chiller Night. Just Chiller Night. And I recently changed the name of the page on Facebook to Chiller Night. I had been trying to do that, and for some reason I just couldn't get it. So I tried to make another page, and in doing that one, it turned out I discovered how to change the other one. So I had sent all these, hey, like this page. and people are liking it. And so I actually deleted that page today so that there'd be no confusion. All these Chillinites floating around there, like, what the heck is he doing? There's too much Chillinite. No, there's not. I'm balancing it out. I've corrected my mistake. The old, or the newer page that I was putting together, I did away with that. Now, Chillinite Escape Experience page is now just Chillinite, like I wanted it to be. That's the name of the store. So that's my best explanation for it all. Patty says, it is the last place you look because it's the last place when you found it. Exactly. Bonus is, I just found out they did a Christmas Story sequel called A Christmas Story Christmas today. I'm really behind the times, ain't I? Well, I am an idiot. Well, I watched that last year, actually. Not the Christmas we just had, but one in 23. I think I saw that one. Stephanie says, take care, y'all. See you next week. Oh, you too, Stephanie. Renee says, go to watch this right now. I fell asleep in the middle part because my arm is achy. Oh, no. Well, I hope your arm gets better soon. John says, you have been part of the Chillinite live experience for a very cold Tuesday. This is Crozak the Grand reminding you shoveling snow sucks. Try using a flamethrower instead. Check local police and fire departments for safety concerns. Until next time, stay chilled and keep thrilled. Yes, yes indeed. Bonus says, thanks to the Chillinite crew and Brian for another great show. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Is on. Raymond says is on Facebook. It is. Chillinite, Jack Shadow's House of Terror, and Chillinite Theater. Those Facebook pages is what the show streams on. Patty says there was a sequel with Charles Growing playing the father, and it deals with a top battle. And then Tom says, good night. Oh, until next week. Yes, good night. Good night, Tom and Stephanie and everybody else. Later Gators, I'm seeing, let's see, Charles was in. Okay, everybody's saying goodbye, and bonuses to quote the immortal Dave Allen, good night. Thank you. May your God go with you. Yes. SBC says, till next week, stay healthy and watch out for insane-looking guys in Santa costumes swinging an axe. Always, yes, very good advice. Al says, good night, everyone. Good night, Al. And yes, Renee, we hope you get better soon. And Ava's hand is doing really well. She is she's going to be getting the stitches out here very soon. But man, her hand is so much better than it was from her last previous surgery. So Al says, good night, everyone. Good night, Al. Thanks for joining us. Bonus says, God bless each and every one of you, and see you next week, hopefully. All right. Sounds good. Later, Gators, Raymond says. All right. So thank you for joining me and each other for another episode of Chiller Night Live. Have a good night. Have a